Today we have a really special, cozy episode with one of the hottest young R&B songstresses coming out. I'm like flirting with you through the camera right now. We have a very special, beautiful lady in the building. Her name is Alex Vaughn, y'all. And if you've been following me in the Pink Room, you know R&B and real R&B is what I stand on. And she's bringing it back. Literally started her latest project out with a song produced by Darkchild. If you know Darkchild, you know Darkchild. That's real R&B right there. So without further ado, welcome to the Pink Room, Alex.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the intro.
You're welcome. You are welcome. I'm really happy to have you. As I was preparing for this conversation and kind of getting up to speed on recent conversations and interviews you've been doing, there was something that stuck out about how you said that, to keep yourself sane, or someone asked you a question, they were like, what would you rather do? Would you rather do this or that? You're like, I just want to make music to keep myself sane. And that's the gist of the Pink Room. Like, if you could just make music, just talk to me about why you love making music, not about if you want to be Whitney Houston or so on and so forth. Just more so about who you are and why this is your vessel. So that's why you're here today. Okay. So we're going to break the ice, y'all. Alex, what's the first song you remember hearing?
The first song I remember hearing?
As far back as you can go. I'm talking 19, well, I don't know how old you are, but I was 4 when I can recall mine. Think on it. Mine was a Tupac song.
I don't want to give the wrong title, but I think it was by The Whispers. And Olivia the same got distracted all the way to grandma's house.
You hear this?
I think it's called Lost and Turned Out. I hope that's what it's called.
First of all, her in my ears right now, angelic. I love it.
But that's probably the first song, and I was very young.
All right. Okay, what was going on? Where were you at? What was the scene?
I was probably in the back seat of the car. My little brother was in the little thing. What is it called?
A car seat.
Car seat. Thank you.
The thing.
Right.
We ain't got no kids, clearly.
My brother's in the car seat. My mom's in the passenger seat. We're headed to the beach or something, and it's just hot and humid, and I'm just kicking my legs, just happy to be here.
The beach. You went to the beach a lot when you were younger?
No, but that's just the memory. But my parents used to always go to this area called Chesapeake Beach, and there were boats, and we were just real young, and that's just the vibe. It was just nice weather, and we just be cruising.
That sounds like a Johnson family vacation type vibe.
You definitely gotta check out that song.
Right, I definitely do. Now I feel like I'm kind of behind on that, but all right, that's a good one. We're gonna find out the name of that and I'll put that in the description.
I'm gonna say it's called Lost and Turned Out.
Lost and Turned Out.
Lost and Turned Out.
Okay,
that's the song.
That's interesting. Lost and Turned Out. That's a nice prompt.
It's a wild concept too.
Right.
This fire.
I'm thinking on that. Lost and Turned Out. I think I've been lost and turned out before. Have you been lost and turned out before?
I've been lost and turned out. Yeah, I've been lost and turned out.
Have you wrote a song about it yet?
Yes, I have.
Which one is your lost and turned out one?
Mirage was my lost and turned out.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. Ooh, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about more so when you recognize your appreciation for music. So, mind you, that might be the first time you remember hearing something or recalling something that really meant something to you. But when did you hear a song and you're like, wow, there's something beautiful about what I just heard and I wish I could replicate it, or I want to perform that, or I want to write that, or I want to do this?
For real, I just remember all my core memories of music just being in the car. Headed to school, headed to the pool, headed to gymnastics, you know what I'm saying? And listening to my mom and my dad had just a wide range of just variety. And my mom would have Jill Scott playing and Mary J. Blige, and my dad would have Stevie Wonder and The Whispers and Biggie and
yeah.
And it was just I don't know what they're talking about because I'm young. I'm just bobbing my head, but I felt something in my entire body, especially listening to Jill Scott and Mary J. Blige. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I want to give that. I love this feeling. I love the feeling that I feel when I'm in it with other people. Like I just need parts. And, you know, thankfully, you know, I've had the gift of music, so I've been able to do it for real.
Yeah. Did you, oh, actually, no, I'll say that for the next segment. Damn, that's about, you know, your first instruments and stuff. All right. So outside of you kind of realizing like music was a big deal and meant a lot to you, did you have any influences in your family life? Like, was your mom a musician, your dad a musician? Who, like, anyone play instruments in it or anything?
So my mom was in like the theater world when she was younger, but I wouldn't say that like she was like a singer.
Yeah.
But both of my parents are very animated. Like, it's just, you know, personality and just.
What's their signs? Do you know?
My mom is a Leo.
Okay.
And my dad's a Libra.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting. What's yours?
I'm a Scorpio.
Okay. Oh, okay. Scorpios. I'm a Cancer. So you're like my other side. I'm currently. Never mind. I'm not gonna talk about him. Never mind. I've always wanted me a Scorpio, and I got one now. And y'all are very interesting characters. Very passionate people. We're psychos at the same time. It's okay.
We are Scorpios.
I'm a psycho as well. Okay, so we're gonna tap into the first theme. Oh, all right.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'll say my grandmother, she had a piano in her house, and that's the closest to. Yeah, that's kind of where it started.
It started right there. All right, how close were your grandma's house? Was your grandma's house to your house, or?
I don't remember. It's probably like, 15, 20 minutes. But, when you're a kid, you're always going to your grandmother's house to get babysat. So it was kind of like where you grew up.
Yeah,
so all my brother and my cousins, we'd be over there, and I'd be sitting on those keys.
Jamming on the piano. All right, so you do play piano, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll talk about that in the next segment. All right, Alex, we're gonna go through a little scene. So,
okay,
you don't have to get an Indian style, but you should. I suggest getting like a shavasana or a meditative pose. And I want you to relax and melt into the seeds. Palms up to the sky. That's really important. That's the portal to the consciousness.
Okay.
All right. Let me talk you through this. All right, we are probably like 10 years old here. I'm talking getting relaxers and perms at the beauty shop. And it's that Friday or that Saturday or whatever morning that you got drugged into the shop with your mama. And, she's sitting in the seat waiting for you. You're in the seat with the little, what are those, the presser curl things, the hot irons, whichever ones. I forgot what they're called. But regardless, the smell of burnt hot combs and sulfur 8 is in the air. Women kikiing, is micro braids to the right of you and flat twist to the left. What song is playing at the beauty shop in this moment?
Anita Baker, Sweet Love.
Anita Baker, Sweet Love. There we go. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Why did that come to you out of all songs?
Because when I was in the beauty salon, like, it's just so many Black women, and they're just older, and they're seasoned, and they off work, and their nails are done, and this is not the young kid station. You know what I'm saying? This is not the hip hop station. This is like the soul station, and it's just Black excellence. You can smell pressing curls, but you can also smell perfume. They all got good purses, and it's just
the nails clacking.
Nails clacking, and it just gave grown and sexy and Sweet Love. I don't know, it was just Sweet Love.
I love that. I love how that song opens up too. That's a very like just the actual like music of it. You just made me think of something else too. Oh no, what's the name of those irons? They're called something.
Hot comb?
No, like the way remember how curling irons now are like more like barrel curlers? They're called something. It's something iron. No, I forgot what they're called, y'all. Either way, it's just bugging me because I know it's like an actual term. But you know how like technically you had to. Never mind. We'll talk about it later. There's two prongs, right? And like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know what they're called, but they were gold.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That golden hot style.
Golden hot.
Yes, the heating bed. Okay, so we out the beauty shop. Anita Baker, Sweet Love's playing, and she goes to her grandma's house afterwards, and she's on them keys. So that was the first instrument you learned how to play, right?
Yes.
And you learned how to play from ear? Did you like have lessons?
So it was a blend of both. I was playing by ear when I was younger, and then my grandmother put me into lessons, and it was like classical lessons, and it was boring. And so I dropped out of it for a second, and then that teacher unfortunately passed. And then her son, which was my mom's godbrother, he was like more on the jazz side. So I started taking lessons again. And he was teaching me about like Stevie Wonder and the Beatles and just like Sarah Vaughan and just chord progressions. And that was more appealing to me. But again, I'm a child with a short attention span. So I ended up stopped taking the lessons from there, but I was still playing by ear. And I've been playing by ear ever since.
Okay, but you can play. Like, you didn't stop too soon to obviously play.
No, I definitely haven't stopped. I just stopped lessons. But I'm going to be getting back soon.
Okay, I love that. All right, so you started out with classical, then you went more jazz. Did you start writing or recording first? Let me ask you.
I started writing first.
When did you start writing?
So
when did you write your first song? Tell me about your first song. What's it called? Who you dedicated to? All that stuff.
So embarrassing. My first song that I wrote, I was like maybe 9 or 10. And the song was called Black Butterfly.
Black Butterfly is hard.
I don't know what I was talking about. And I wrote it to the loop. It was, remember the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing?
Love Don't Cost a
No, the movie with Christina Milian and Nick Cannon.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a scene where she's like playing the guitar and there was like this loop. Whatever. Yeah. And so I never forgot it. So I figured out how to play it on the keys and I just wrote a song to it. And it was about like a girl growing up and like going somewhere new. But I don't.
Black Butterfly.
Black Butterfly.
She's a butterfly still. She's black and she was a butterfly.
That is so weird to think about. But yeah, I was like 10.
You can make it work.
And then I didn't write anything from there. And then the next song, I just started getting my little feelings hurt. And I was like maybe 15. Started writing.
So the writing started, Black Butterfly came at 10, but then like the real, I want to say the real writing as if that writing wasn't real, but the other writing came when you started having more experiences with relationships and whatever those things are called.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, outside of writing, then when did you first start recording? What's the first song you recorded?
First song I recorded. The recording didn't come until later. I was probably like maybe 18 or 19. One of my friends who I've created music with, he always had a studio in his basement. It was like built in his crib. And we would just be in there recording stuff. I say like 2014 when I first started recording. 2013.
That makes sense.
13,
I feel like I found my first song of yours on SoundCloud like 2014.
That my first song I dropped was definitely around 2014, and then my first project was 2015.
Oh wow! Oh wow! You really did start there. That's crazy. I remember just seeing the cover art that I saw. You had short hair on it, I think, and like. I just was like, oh, this looks like a real like black girl. Like it's SoundCloud back then. You were not everyone was really. There were certain scenes that were on it, but not everyone was really in it. Okay, we'll talk about that later. All right, so first song I remember hearing, or first song you recorded, first song you wrote. When's the first performance, or what's the first time you ever performed live?
So I've always had a piano where I've lived. Like my grandmother had a piano, my parents like had a piano where in our home. So, they'd have people over and I might like play a song or a cover. So technically I've been performing for a long time in a way. And when family members have weddings, funerals and stuff like that, like I would be singing them.
So you was that little niece.
I was right.
Yeah. Go ahead, sing that song. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. I'll sing some. But I remember it had to have been like 2015 again, and that was my first time performing without the piano. Ooh. And that was like, ooh, wait a second. It was like some art showcase, and it was in Georgetown. It's a spot in DC, an area in DC. And it was just an open floor. And they're like, yo, while we switching sets, anybody want to come up and do something? So I was like, man, maybe I should. And
you've always been that outgoing?
When it comes to performing, I have always been outgoing.
That's beautiful.
I'm an outgoing friend.
Yeah. Okay. So then I interrupted you. Go ahead.
So I got on the mic and I sung, and I was really stiff, but people were really singing along with me, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this. What'd you sing? I sung I Remember the Way You Used to Love Me by Faith Evans.
Oh, I remember. Those are good songs to sing back at that time, probably.
I was like, yeah, kind of like just snap with me, just something to just keep tempo. People may know the words. And
yeah. You were good at, well, I mean, I feel like, how can I put it? You seem like you were always aware of your craft and of your gift, and you were never scared to use it. But some people are scared of that. I feel like I was so scared of my gifts for so long. I'm just now tapping into them, but I should have been stepped in it, you know?
I feel it 100%. I am starting to unravel and peel the layers of my gifts, and sometimes, and I realize like, damn, Alex, you still a little scared, you know what I'm saying? But we still tapping in. But music has always been like my most comfortable space and my safest space, so I always make sure to like lean into it because it's like my best friend, you know?
Yeah. What's the latest thing you've unraveled about yourself? Deep sigh. It's okay. We in the pink room. We doing girl talk. It's just Drea.
Repeat the question. Let me just make sure I answer it right.
What's one of the most recent things you've unraveled about yourself or unpacked about yourself?
One of the most recent things I've unraveled or unpacked about myself. I'm trying to think about the last time I looked out the window and what I said, because that's usually what I'm like. Alex. I have to give myself more grace.
Yeah.
I'm not giving myself enough grace still. Because, I mean, this is like, that's a real like thing you have to keep hacking at. And I'm making progress, but there's still more work to be done. Like, you know, I get into a groove of things and then something happens and it just feels like it's just mucking up all the progress that I've made.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it to stop me from moving forward. So I try to like push past it or do strategies or, you know, whatever, optimism my way out of it, but I still be mad.
Yeah, but you still be holding on to like that little crutch on it. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so
I know what you mean. I'm there right now too.
And I'm not a person who wants to be stubborn in that space. I want to get out of it. So when I be like, it just is like, Alex, when you peel back the layers of it, like you're just not giving yourself enough grace. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
it's already happened. And it's gonna happen until it doesn't happen anymore. Like that's just part of the learning process.
Yeah.
And this is how you get past it. You have to experience it. Chill.
Yeah, the pressure that we put on ourselves comes from us, the lack of grace. That we are pretty much like the source of a lot of the pressure and the stuff that we feel, the frustration that we feel. I'm learning that too with myself now, like being in a place where I would say I pretty much have everything I need or want in terms of a career, in terms of like, you know, the trajectory. There we go. I planted, my seeds are now all planted in the soil that they need to be in, at least hypothetically. But I still look around and I do one thing wrong. I'm like, as long as it took me to get here, now I have to f it all up. Like,
as soon as you do something wrong, it's like, why do I still not know that? Like, why are we still here? Like, this is why. And then you can start rabbit hole and I have to stop myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And be like, Alex, chill. It happens.
Yeah.
How are we gonna keep going if you always so mad at yourself? Like, bro, chill.
Why is that I don't want to say we as in like there's a particular type person or a woman or whatever, but why in general do you think human beings are so used to like being that hard on themselves? Why are we even hard on ourselves at all? We're stuck here. We didn't ask to be here. Why are we hard on that?
I think it's because, you know, you don't really see yourself the way other people see you. When you see other people, it just seems like they're doing everything you're not doing. And when you look on television and when you look on just media in general, it just looks like everybody's doing things properly and correctly. And so you feel like, you know, if it's not looking like that or similar, then I am not doing something right. You know, like my stomach, I got a sit down stomach versus the person with abs. What am I not doing? Like, why can't I live, bro? Like, this is why this isn't happening for me. Like, that's just, it's toxic. It's toxic, you know? And I think once you like make the active decision to say, chill, stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, it's not that bad because at least for myself, you know, we all are our biggest critics, but like, I think humans are just so beautiful, but, and it's a self journey to figure out.
Yeah. A self journey.
It's a self journey.
I don't think when I was growing up or when my mom and dad were raising me, you You know, they want us to be, you know, strong Black women and go out here and get that job and da da da. I'm like, girl, did you tell me what it was like being out here as one of these strong Black women and what we have to go through and how we have to like suppress certain things? It's a lot.
But I feel like knowing what a strong Black woman is, it just keeps redefining itself, and we keep peeling layers back to what that means, especially because now we're, you know, older women, still young women, but like, wow, like, you know, our moms were really like in the workspace and making sure the kids was fed and we had nice outfits on and went on trips or whatever the case and showed up and go, like, it's amazing strength and still managed to, you know, have mommy time.
Right.
You know, that's a superpower. So being a strong Black woman, like it took training, you know, being with our OGs, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. And you said something so important. It's steady, it's always redefining itself, like that, the concept of a strong Black woman. How do you keep yourself strong and mentally, emotionally? Like, how do you reset whenever you have those moments and then, you know, reinvigorate yourself?
I pray. I sleep.
That's a good one. That's okay to sleep.
No, rest is like seriously important. Like, you know, you'll tire yourself out and you need to rest. You know, don't keep pushing yourself and off the edge. You can't do anything if you got nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
So rest, lean on my village, you know, we always, especially when we're in lower spaces, like you feel like you got to do this by yourself or you have to just isolate yourself or you don't want anybody else. You don't want to be a burden, but you know, your people are here for you. So I talk to my sister or I call my mom or, you know, just send a text message to my friends. I go on the internet and laugh real quick. Like, you know,
TikTok.
TikTok is crazy.
Insane.
But yeah, I just listen to myself for real. Like when I feel like I need to tend to myself, I really stay still and get to the bottom of it.
How do you use music in those moments? Or do you use music in those moments?
I, you know, usually I write a lot.
Yeah.
I write a lot. Like I just have like, you know, ideas or just maybe a phrase, a word, red headband.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll just put it into my notes and just think about it and wash, rinse, repeat, like take a nap, eat some food. Pray, call my team. Like that's literally just like that's what I do to just kind of keep myself
sane. Yep. There we go. All right. Well, that's a great segment into the next scene before we go to the next one. Okay. All right. We're going to get back in position.
All right.
All right, girl. We had a crazy weekend with lots of fun regrets and all that good stuff. And it is Sunday and you want to put yourself in a nice bath to wash all of the sin or joy away. There's lavender bath salts going. You got a candle going. The water's nice and warm. You're finally feeling yourself, finally feeling elevated after the long weekend. What song do you have planned as you reset your emotions and your energy for the next week? Yeah, bubble bath, the water in the bathtub slushing around. Wine glass on the right, maybe.
Jill Scott, The Way.
Jill Scott, is it the way? Hold on. Actually, when you can open your eyes now. I asked, so I did this on Sunday, and
really?
I asked my mom, what song would you play? And I played Times a Wasting by Erykah Badu. And I asked my mom, what song would you play? And she said, oh, I don't know. I would play that one, I guess. And I was like, no. Like, what song? Okay, no, she said Lauryn Hill, Nothing Even Matters. Never mind. Good. It wasn't Jill Scott. And then X Factor. But okay, Is It the Way?
They're all around the same BPM.
Yeah, all around that same tone, same vibe. Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that one. Why that one particularly for you?
Just Jill Scott just felt her voice and her music just always felt very relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and when I think about a bubble bath and I think about like, I don't really want to, like if I could take a nap in this bubble bath, that's what I want it to sound like.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
I could go for that right now.
I know, it's so right. I'll talk you through a bubble bath later. All right, so let's talk about your brink, or like where you are right now and kind of some of the milestones that have led to this. Because, you know, you've been making music and performing for years. I guess more than 8 years, right? Well, more than that, right?
I think probably more than that.
Way more than that. But I guess in terms of when I first found you on SoundCloud, like 2014 to now.
Yeah.
There's been so much that's happened. So walk us through some of those milestone moments that have led you up to Hurtbook. And then we'll talk about Hurtbook.
Whew. Okay. I'll start from SoundCloud.
Your first big milestone, your first big damn, I put music out and it's actually out here for the world.
Okay, so when I graduated high school, I got a full scholarship to college in Connecticut for classical music, for classical voice.
Wow.
The high school I went to had a performing arts program, and I was in the voice program, but it was a classical-based program, so we were like learning classical training and theory and, singing in different languages and competitions and just a whole new world of music. So I ended up getting a full scholarship, and it was cool. I love singing, classical music. I think operas are awesome.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't think I want to spend my time doing this. I want to leave. And I think when I left school and my parents were mad about it and everybody was just pretty confused, like, what is going on with this girl? I think that was like, I got to put out some music. I got to do something. Like, I got to make a point. Like, not even make a point. Like, I'm going to do me. I just, what is the next step to do? I dropped out of college. Okay, I got to put out music. So one of my friends, shout out to Puss and Coles, one of my friends I went to high school with, the one I said that I would go to his house and record. We worked on our first project together, the 4 p.m. mix. And we dropped it in 2015. We probably did the whole project in like 4 or 5 months. And it was exciting. And I was starting to get like a little bit of traction on it.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And I was about to start like rolling it out and doing like a short film for it, but I had gotten recruited to get on The Voice, the show The Voice. And we had to sign contracts. So I kind of had to like put my project on ice.
Yeah.
And then, I got rain check for the show, so I didn't even touch the stage. No big deal.
No big deal. Look at me now.
No, it was honestly, that was such a cool experience. I had never paid more attention to like just, I'm not gonna say content, but like, content, like, just continuity and just having to be active in different spaces because there's different parts of just storyboarding and stuff. I just thought it was so incredible. And I met great friends and I didn't have to be on a contract. So I got to go home. So then I dropped a single a couple months after I got back from The Voice, and it was called Good Morning. And that song started doing really well. And I think from there, I just started doing performances anywhere. Like, I mean, it felt like at first they were not young crowds. They were like older crowds, but I didn't care. I just wanted to perform.
Yeah.
And get paid, and the older crowds are paying. So now we're in 2017. And in 2018, I dropped another project called The Shift. Just like really just trying things out. And, still troubleshooting more than anything. The projects were important to me, but it was really just, me practicing, committing to a project and
bringing it to life.
Full
breath, yeah.
Yeah, completing something.
The labor.
And me as an artist, like I'm really overly critical about my work. So once I put out the projects, I'm pretty good off them. I kind of don't even like them. I'm like, all right, the project's out. I'm glad you guys like them. Let's just move on.
No.
I'm insane.
Oh my God, we love what you put in your music, girl.
Thank
Stop.
You. No, I'm working on it. I love my music. I meant it. I wrote it. I swear.
Yeah.
But I just already know the next place I want to go.
So you're one of those where you're like, all right, you have a very proactive mindset, I guess, in terms of like your inspiration. So you could be in something right now, getting that out and put that out, but you are already, your mind and your spirit's already on the next project
100%.
or the next track.
Oh yeah.
slow down. We want you here with us.
Oh my God.
We want you to experience it with us.
I'm here. No, I want to experience it with everyone. I want to experience it with us. I want us to be on this journey together. So I'm cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like me sharing these songs with people, because not all the stories are like super recent or super current, but I find myself connecting these old stories to what's something currently happening in my life. So it's like I can't even escape it, which is why, it's called the Hurtbook.
Wait, hold on. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No.
It's
It's a good thing. But it's I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing. But it's a good thing. Saying like I can't these old stories, like just my experiences, like you can't escape your experiences. Like they've happened, they're part of your journey, is what I'm saying. So you might as well just find a new way to embrace them, or since you've been here before, you can find a better way of going about it. So the experience is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Hurtbook then, and all the hurt you had to put into that.
Woohoo.
Hurtbook, where did the concept come from?
So the first version of Hurtbook was inspired by myself and somebody that I was like kind of in a situationship with. And then it felt like the movie The Notebook, because like it just kept just wasn't ending, and I didn't know how it was gonna end. And then time kind of went by, and then I was like, man, it'll just be a compilation of just situationship stories. And then I got signed. And when I got signed, a lot of things started changing. Just like my relationship with myself, and the romantic part of my life was just the least important. Like my friendships were starting to change. Like just my outlook on life was starting to shift. And it was just like an adult puberty. And
oof. Cringe.
Yeah, it just became painful. And I was like, yo, this stuff sucks. And, historically, especially with like dating, I'm really good at like brushing that type of shit off.
Oh, really? I'm not.
Yeah,
It's a Scorpio. See? It's a Scorpio. Anyways.
I don't know what to say. I plead the fifth. But it just got to a point where I can't really ignore how I feel, because these are my friendships, or these things really hurt. And I can't brush it off, and I can't drink it away or dance it away or smoke it away, even though I don't drink. I just can't keep ignoring it. So I wanted to make a project to just kind of like embrace these emotions, because I know that embracing the way I feel and accepting how I feel will help me move past it, or will help me like move forward. And all these experiences are just part of my story, and I don't regret any of the things. You know what I'm saying? They're all experiences. Yeah, it's our story. It's a hurt book. It's a hurt, not a broken book. Like I didn't want it to be a burn book per se, because we can't, like I said, we can't like escape the things that have happened to us. I mean, we can find a new freedom with it, but trying to erase it or act like it never happened it's not even fair to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not even fair to you. Give yourself grace.
Give yourself grace. The whole project is basically about giving yourself grace.
I love that. Which one of those tracks was most uncomfortable for you to write?
I'd say So Be It was the most uncomfortable for me to write.
The first one?
That was actually the last song we recorded for the project.
Wow, how'd you put that one?
Actually, no, second to last song.
Why is that one first? I want to know that, just because like I like it first. I'm a big what's going to be your first track on your project person. So Be is a good one to be first for me, from what I love about your music. But why was So Be It first for you?
I wanted the project to start with a punch, and we were really having we were really going back and forth, like, what should the first song be? And we knew So Be It was like powerful. And it wasn't about a romantic relationship. That was about a friendship. One of my best friends and I like had a big falling out, and I was in the studio in Orlando working with Rodney Jerkins, and I was in the room with Bishay and Reggie Beckton, the other two writers, and they were
Reggie
like,
Beckton,
my dog. And they're like, yeah, so what you got going on? I was like, bruh, I don't have anything to talk about except me and one of my friends. I didn't even think that was going to be the concept for the song.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, I just went through something like that. I just went through something like that. And the friendship breakup hurt because like I still love them, you know? And I just had to come to terms that I have to love them differently or love them from a distance. And even though we had fallen off, it didn't feel like beef. It just felt like so be it. And
so be it. Yeah, you grow separate ways.
And you know, people try to be the bigger people. Everybody wants to be the bigger person. You know, everybody wants to move past things and get over them. But the truth of the matter is, it's like you still feel how you feel. Like I do still miss you.
Yeah.
I do still care. You know, but I know that I can't keep going. And I wanted to just kind of set the tone with the project that like, it's okay to be vulnerable with yourself. You don't have to share it with the world. You just got to do it for yourself. And there are like sometimes ending things are okay.
Being vulnerable with yourself is probably one of the hardest things to do.
It is.
It's harder than you think it is.
It's a journey, but you like it's a process, and you got to be patient with yourself. But you got to understand that like it's your world, you know. So the sooner you accept yourself for who you are, that you start unraveling new things and you start seeing new layers of life, and you start to get a hunger for more. But it's scary.
What about those times where you're unraveling things about yourself and they seem to be a little toxic or a little scary or a little like you're not proud of it or shameful, or like, you know, maybe you're not as good of a person as you thought you were, or maybe you're a little bit more dark than you thought you were, and you start finding these things out as you wallow in some of that pain or those sorrows?
It's scary. You may discover some things about yourself that need to be checked, but that's the beautiful part of you even checking it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? You can beat yourself up about it. You can be like, all right, listen, you know that it's out of pocket, but it's okay. Work on it. You know what I'm saying? Next time you get that urge, just say no, or just challenge it. Like you just got to work with yourself. Like find, like, you know yourself best. I think that people are afraid to just say things out loud. We already know everything that we discover, for real. We just afraid to say it out loud, but there's a freedom in saying it out loud to yourself.
There's
again.
a freedom in writing it down. There's a freedom to singing it. The freedom to plan that, yeah.
It's a freedom to just releasing
the
it.
let out.
Let out.
So, okay, so in my office, or I call it my music room, not an office, but it's an office. I have this little board where I like have, you know, the little letters that stick on those like lines? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I forgot what it, letter boards, whatever. And it's called the let out because every time I walk past my office, it's like the center room in my apartment, I see that, like the let out. It's all about the let out, like how much you can like express and let out. And that's the theme of my music room, because music for me is a let out. So like I'll go in there and I have like certain lights. I got this nice shaggy rug. Like it's like my little sanctuary to me. It's like this. It's actually the couch is actually this color. That's crazy. And the pillows are this color. I'm psycho, but no, I'm not. I knew what I was doing. It's my soul right here. The let out is like so music to me is like a let out. I was just relating to that. And I like how you put what you said, because really it's just the more you let out, the more you can receive.
Yeah. And you know, letting out is like it's a cleanse, and sometimes cleansing is just like kind of draining, and sometimes you just feel exhausted, but you also just feel relieved, but you got to be willing to go through it.
Yeah. Well, when's the last time you've been, speaking of exhausted, when's the last time you've been on vacation? Vacation coming soon for Alex Vaughn.
No, after this tour, I definitely just need a good 5 to 7 days somewhere warm.
Jamaica. Let's go to Jamaica.
Jamaica?
Yeah, Jamaica. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story about Jamaica, and then we're gonna get into a scene.
Which part of Jamaica?
Well, I've been to a couple different parts. I've been a few times, but I went to Negril the most recent time, and I stayed at Rock House Hotel, which is a beautiful hotel on the cliffs. I stayed in the Sister Hotel, which is on the beach, on 7 Mile Beach in Negril. Then I stayed in the mountains in Kentucky, which is like Ross. There's barely running water up there type. I didn't know that when I got there, but hey, I wanted to go up there and write music. I went up there to like stay like in this really beautiful cabin. I'm gonna show you a picture of it afterwards.
Yeah,
Regardless, that was my
Jamaica.
experience. And there's a song that kind of narrates exactly what like it felt like being on top of that mountain for me. But I wanted to try to describe it for you and see what you can get out of it.
Okay.
That's all you can get out of it. Okay. This scene, we're in Jamaica. We're in the Kentucky mountains. And when I tell you this mountain is so beautiful, you know, you see mountains, right? And they're typically rough in texture. But this was the most lush tropical mountain I've ever seen. It's Jamaica, so the sun is beautiful and it's shining. You get to the very top of the mountain and you can't tell where the sky starts or the ocean ends. And does it even end? Whatever really happens up there. But we're up here on top of this mountain and I'm rolling up some little herbal essences with the Rasta that's with me. And we're just sitting there, we're talking about life. And I asked him this question and I said, hey, where's your wife at? You know, like, you know, you're up here by yourself. He said, I don't need anybody. I just need God and I need this element right here. And he looked out to the sky. And for some reason, like this gust of wind just like covered me. And as I inhaled and then I exhaled and it just kind of like everything around me just got still. But it was so pristine. It felt so elevated. I felt so connected to my conscious up there. And I just couldn't stop thinking about this one song. What song are you thinking about right now?
I'm thinking Closer by Guapale.
Yeah, okay. That's a good one. Yep, that's a good one. I like that one. Though someone's answered that one before, but not to that particular prompt. But for me and my situation and how I felt, yeah, closer to my dreams. I should have felt that way. I don't think I felt that way at the time. I couldn't interpret that. I was just like stuck on this fantasy of it being like this. I'm in Jamaica and I'm like in the mountains and blah, blah, blah. But I like the song called Starlight by Dave. I don't know why I relate that song to that moment, but I do. Well, no, I do know why, because he talks about going to Jamaica is his pastime in one of the bars. So interesting. Closer by Guap. I always say her name wrong. Guapale. I always say her name wrong. I like that. So you're going to Jamaica after the tour.
I didn't even think about Jamaica, which is kind of crazy.
I love Jamaica. Every time I go to Jamaica, it's the only country I've been more than once. I feel like I belong there. I'm just like, yep, I'm here. Like that trip I went on, I went by myself. And I went for a mental health break from life and work too. So it was a really like, I really needed that trip a lot. So from going to the beach and then being on the rocks and being in the mountains. And when I tell you the mountains, it was like
And you felt safe? And
No, I ain't gonna hold you. The mountains part, I probably was a little too like, yeah, let's go to the mountains because like anything could have happened to me up there. But my spirit was really, it was really like it was very. I was really close to those people up there for. Well, I don't want to say for no reason, but I'll tell you. So, I searched botanical retreats, or excuse me, was it botanical retreats or like whatever retreats, like vegan, like vegetarian, like retreats or whatever, wellness retreats in Jamaica. But the only one I could find that was Black owned was this one called Mel's Botanical Retreat in Kentucky. And the reason why I actually went there, not only because it was Black owned, but like on Airbnb, you see this Black woman in her face, and she's just smiling and she got the lush garden around her. I'm like, I'm going there. So I go there, and then I didn't know until maybe like the day or two before I get on the plane, because I'm just looking at the Airbnb over and over again, that she had passed away. She was like 31. She passed away from COVID. So I didn't know this, but then I'm like, dang, so like who's gonna be up on the mountain greeting me? So I get up there, and it is her daughter, Kiki, shout out to Kiki, and her family that's all up there. But when I walked up there, up the mountain, or when I was walking up and she was like greeting me to everyone just stopping and staring. They didn't know what to say. And she said, hey, like at the end of the trek, she's like, hey, you look just like Mel. You look just like my mom. And I had a dream like a week ago that my grandma was telling me that she was coming to talk to me. So it was a really spiritual experience for me too. So being up on that mountain, being with the family, and then like being a little scared, but then like thankfully I wasn't a threat to them to where it was a place that put me in a position where I had to feel unsafe. But Jamaica is one of those places I always feel connected to it for some reason. So that's just my experience. But You know, it's my room, so I gotta tell you my stories.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to, I don't know, Jamaica may.
Go write music in Jamaica. And there's a side of Jamaica, I think it's like Port Antonio or St. Antonio or something like that. There's a hotel or something that has a really dope recording studio that a lot of famous people have recorded in. Yeah, it's in Port Antonio. I think it's Port Antonio is what it's called. It's like yeah, you'll find it.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Cause I was like, damn, if I was a real artist, I'd just go up there. But like, nah. So yeah, Jamaica. Damn, that was a good experience. So let's move it on to the next part of the conversation. We talked about your milestones and your brinks and going through writing through the Hurtbook and what those stories meant to you. But let's talk about now, like what's going on currently in music culture, and if you have any takes or any like trends that you're paying attention to or watching, or I don't know, like what's your opinion right now on the state of music and music culture?
I think music is in great hands. I think that everybody's just kind of like experimenting and trying new things, and you know, it's becoming. I think that we're starting to like discover that we don't have to put this much pressure on ourselves to like keep up with whatever we think the trend is or what we think that people are eating or whatever. I think, and it's taking a little bit of time, but people are discovering that we can just be free and do us and just create what feels true to us. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's exciting. And all these creatives, you know, I feel like my perspective is changing because I'm seeing them as my peers, and we're just, I don't know. I think music's in a great space. I think everybody's doing great. I don't think that we're in a state of emergency with music in any way, shape, or form. I think people are just like really anxious and hungry for something, but you gotta try food before you find the flavors you like. You know?
Exactly.
And be willing to try it. Like y'all just wait. You're looking for a seasoning that stopped being sold in 1991. You know what I'm saying? Like let it go. There's new seasonings out here. Mix some stuff together. You might find something new.
Make your own seasoning.
Make your own
spice.
Make your own spice, man.
Grow your own vegetables. I love that. Her answer was music is in a great place, and I love that response. Yeah, because I think that really goes back to you even just saying like for music, like letting it out it is an experience in itself. You perform and you make music to keep yourself sane. It's all about what your release and what your relationship with the music is, right? Yeah. And that's what the Pink Room is about. It's about your relationship with music and how what's the word? How closely that relationship is tied to literally you and only you, not your relationship with music because of what's going on around you or because this is what the new trend is or what the new sound is like. But I really, really love that response. I'm trying to think of a different way to ask that question to get a different angle out of you, but maybe it'll come at another time. What are some things that you want to try in your music like what are some recent creative inspirations that you want to try in your next, project or next songs?
So, I have classical training, and I really want to start incorporating that into my next round of music. I don't know if I'm going to be singing like full-on opera songs, but even just adding a little sprinkle in there. In classical training, we have to learn how to sing in French, Italian, and German. So it's like, I would love to try singing some different languages. It doesn't have to be opera either. So
can you speak German?
I can't like say something to you right now, but like if I had to read something, I could read it.
Wow.
I could read it and pronounce it for sure.
I might go back to your classical training days because I want to understand how that has like shaped you. But okay. Let's just talk about it right now. Classical. So what is classical training school? What is this? When did you start it? How many years are you in it for?
So I've always been in choirs, like school choirs, since I was in, kindergarten, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then when I went to middle school, it became more conservatory style, which is basically like just more classically driven. Mm-hmm. And then my director, he told me to audition for my high school, Suitland. And from there, I got into the program. All 4 years, we were placed in vocal lessons, and we had to take music theory, mm-hmm. and we're involved in operas, and we have jurisdictions, and which is like our midterm, our singing midterm. So they're like, looking at the way that we breathe and how we're phrasing and how we're emulating the emotion of the song and just all this just performance stuff. And then from there, I went to college in Connecticut, University of Hartford.
Whoa, random. That's random. From Maryland to Connecticut?
Yeah, so my director, my high school director for the performing arts program, he was from Vermont and he went to that school. So he could, vouch for their program, and they had a really strong classical program, a conservatory. And so, yeah. So a lot of students from my school auditioned for the school, and they gave money.
No, gotcha. So that's why you went.
And they gave me a full scholarship. So I went, and I think for the first 2 years we were taking, I was there for about 2 years, and I was taking voice lessons then and still doing music theory and diction and all these other just facets of music. And then I just left. So I'd say in total it's about 6 years. 6-7 years of training.
I think it's really beautiful that you have that much musical intelligence behind your sound. I hate to say intelligence as if if you don't go to class, if you don't have classical training, it's not intelligent,
knowledge.
But knowledge. There we go. Yeah, you just have your sound palette has a lot of breadth to it. There we go. I didn't know that about you until you just broke all of that down. I'm thinking classical training school is like a 2-year thing or something. It's not classical training school, y'all. I just don't know what it's really called. What did I say?
Just classically trained.
You're classically trained in sound.
Yes.
I love that. Okay. All right. So now with where you are and Hurtbook is out and it's doing well for you and your name is ringing bells, especially as one of the hottest new R&B songstresses. I keep saying that, but you are hot and then you have a different look to you. And I hate... You look like a real Black woman to me. And I love that because, again, I go back to being in a beauty shop when I want to hear R&B. And if I can't picture you next to me getting that press and curl, and I'm like, are you really with us? Are you really singing from that space? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying ain't nobody singing from that space, but that's just my relationship with it. So what's next for Alex Vaughn?
So I am finishing up this tour right now. And after that, I really just want to get back into the lab. I just want to get back creating immediately. I want to get back into the gym. I just want to step back into the cut.
Yeah.
And just make some more things. I definitely want to do more performances. prayerfully, I'm performing outside of the country.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to do some international shows and just see what that's hitting on.
Mm-hmm.
More festivals.
I think you do great in London.
Oof. I went to London for the first time last summer. I went for 3 days.
Really? How was it?
And I was not performing. I just went. Oh my God.
It was so fun. I'm going in April, May for the first time for 5 days.
You're going to lose your mind.
For a friend's birthday. I don't know what to do. We have no plans yet.
I don't know if you've ever been a new girl in school. I've never been.
I've been a new girl in school quite a lot. I'm a new girl a lot. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been the new adult in world.
That's how I was.
I was just wow. And everybody was like, oh my God, you're amazing. I love you. I love your hair. Oh my God, you're gorgeous. Your accent's driving me crazy.
Yo, you did that accent pretty well.
I have one friend from London and she tells me I do a terrible job.
No, it sounded good to me.
Thank you. Thanks. But definitely more international shows. And I really just want to try new things. I just want to do things and just be open to just new opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I don't want to put a limit on myself because there's some things I haven't thought of yet. And those are usually the things that I'm looking for. So I'm just, what's this to say? She said, making herself available to the opportunity. I'm just making myself available to new opportunity.
Make yourself available and give yourself grace, y'all.
Yes, grace is key.
If that's how we close it out, we're gonna close it out with that. Give yourself grace, okay? Whew. I gave myself grace today.
Yeah?
I today was one of them days, I ain't gonna hold you. I did not even want to get up, but I literally, I love what I do, right? But even you can love what you do, but sometimes you just don't want to have to do.
Don't, girl.
Why do I have to do? Then I think about Harriet Tubman and the slaves. They have to do every day. So I'm like, we're not gonna go down the rabbit hole. But either way, I woke up, I got up, and once I put this headset on, I heard myself on the mic. I'm like, can't wait to talk to Alex Vaughn now. And we're here, and I got quite a long day ahead of me. But I'm gonna give myself some grace.
Yes, I have a long day ahead of me as well, and every day is a new fight. You know what I'm saying? Like that can be a really positive and uplifting way, or it can be like a fight. You know what I'm saying? And every day we've been pushing through, and now it's Wednesday, which means, and it's been a lot of Wednesdays that we've pushed through. So, you know,
it's an early Wednesday for me.
We are
really early one. But
we pushing through. We doing it somehow. That's that part of that black superhero thing we were talking about. Strong black woman. Look at you, you strong black woman.
Oh, look at you strong black woman. Don't do that. Stop. Don't gas me up. Go ahead, gas me up. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for kicking it with me in the pink room, Alex. This is great girl talk. We'll talk about Jamaica and other things later.
Yes.
But if anybody learned anything from this conversation, let yourself out, explore yourself, learn yourself, receive yourself, check yourself, give yourself grace.
Yes.
And just be happy with who you are, because you're not going to get another version of yourself. You got to be that version of yourself for yourself. So there's that. But yeah, thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you for having me.
And we out. Peace, y'all.